nothing like a little voltage to get some high wattage laughs. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 funny movie electrocution scenes. For this list, we're looking at films that feature some uniquely shocking funny moments. You could say that these scenes give us an honest glimpse into what it's really like to have thousands of volts of energy coursing through your body.
I think that's an electric fence.
But honestly, it's all just for the laughs. In reality, most of these people and creatures would be dead if they weren't already. But hey, that's what the movies are for. If you didn't see an electrocution scene you thought should be on the list, be sure to check out our video of the top 10 serious movie electrocution scenes too. Also, since some of these result in deaths, a spoiler alert is probably in order.
That thing had 9 lives, she just spent them all.
Number 10. Jumpstart Chev's heart, cranked high voltage.
You wanna give me a jump?
So, obviously this dude managed to make it to another movie without his malfunctioning heart conking out on him.
Just me.
In this crank sequel, Jason Statham reprises his role as Chev, a hitman who is injected with a street drug that causes his heart to stop pumping if his body doesn't receive enough adrenaline. This time, his heart's been removed altogether and replaced with one that runs on a battery. Of course, he ends up destroying the battery pack and becomes desperate for a charge. Thankfully for him, he runs across a helpful motorist and puts his jumper cables to good use. Number 9. Zombies at the Power Plant, Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
No, it's the dead. They've come back to life.
Just when you thought the dead would be staying dead, at least for a little while, they go and make a comeback.
All right, you dead bunch of sons of bitches. I'm throwing your tired, ugly asses right back to hell.
The second of the Return of the Living Dead movies continues the theme of toxic waste reanimating the dead.
What is that stuff? Swamp gas.
Thanks to some foolish teenagers, one such barrel emits its noxious gases at a cemetery of all places, unleashing a horde of zombies on a town of regular folk. But this time, destroying a zombie isn't as easy as it was the first time around.
That's why you're dead, asswipe. No brains and a big mouth.
It's discovered that electricity is what does the undead in. So the mass of zombies is lured to a power plant where they suffer a fate that would be worse than death if they weren't dead already. Number 8. Tasers and water don't mix, Timecop.
We have to talk.
Any electrocution that's punctuated by a mid-air split from Jean-Claude Van Damme can't really be all that bad.
Who sent you? Who sent you?
In this sci-fi action flick, Van Damme plays a police officer that's trying to stop a corrupt official from misusing time travel technology for his own nefarious purposes.
I never quit.
His efforts aren't met without some resistance, however, and as Max Walker lays down for a midday nap, some goons bust into his home and try to kill him. One of the more creative goons decides to shoot a taser charge at the puddle of water Walker is lying in, but only succeeds in electrocuting himself. Number 7. The Shark and the Power Cable, Jaws 2.
Hurry, you big bastard! Come on!
Just when you thought it was safe to be a hapless teenager on Amity Island again, yet another great white shark shows up to make you reconsider things.
I think we may have another shark problem.
This follow-up to the 1975 original finds us right back in the same town with yet another murderous predatory shark.
Out of the water! Out of the water now! Everybody out!
In spite of the events of the first film, town officials don't want to own up to the possibility of there being another killer shark on the loose, which obviously spells disaster.
Oh God, Eddie, swim! Let's go, hurry! Come on! Swim! Come on, swim!
When a group of kids heads out on the water for some summertime fun, they find themselves being terrorized by the shark until the town hero, Police Chief Brody, shows up and tricks the fierce fish into chomping a power line to death. Number 6. Ernest Gets Electrocuted, Ernest Goes to Jail.
It's time for me to step up to the plate.
Audiences may have gotten accustomed to an affably goofy Ernest P. Worrell in his previous films, but in this 4th installment in the Ernest catalog, this dude's in jail.
Come and get me! Let's do it!
Come on, Nash. It's time.
And he's not playing any games. Through an unlikely set of circumstances, Ernest ends up behind bars after he's believed to be a deadly killer named Felix Nash.
But I'm not Nash. I'm Ernest.
Even worse for Ernest, Nash is sentenced to die by electric chair. The execution attempt goes awry, as it were, and Ernest ends up getting juiced like crazy.
Such a man should be set free.
The faulty execution also manages to gift him with some supernatural electric abilities. So there's always a silver lining, it seems. Number 5. No More Gremlin Army, Gremlins 2, The New Batch. Continuing the very specific theme of villains and monsters that can only be destroyed by electricity in sequels, we're reunited with Gizmo and crew, who are yet again in peril in this Gremlin sequel.
Oh, well, the show must go on. So let us ladle up some of our chowder noodles.
This time, though, it's not really their fault. After getting kidnapped by a company looking to do weird experiments on him, Gizmo ends up getting wet and spawning additional Mogwai that go on to become evil gremlins. The Gremlins go on to develop a gremlin army, and since they have lab access, they get into some potions that give them special abilities.
We want to be civilized. I mean, you take a look at this fellow here.
But it's the electric gremlin that ends up being the demise of the entire bunch after it's released from the answering machine he was previously trapped in. Number 4. Fried Feline, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. The Griswolds just can't seem to have any family gatherings that don't end up in disaster, and the 3rd installment of National Lampoon's Vacation series is no exception. The Griswolds are attempting to celebrate Christmas with their family, which would seem simple enough, but obviously never is.
You're not doing anything constructive. Run into the living room, get my stogie.
After a senile family relative inadvertently brings her cat to the Griswold home as a Christmas present,
This box is meowing.
it's unwrapped and free to roam about the house. Unfortunately, it decides that the lights on the Christmas tree would make for a suitable chew toy. And when Clark Griswold plugs the lights into the electrical socket, the kitty gets the surprise of its life. Number 3. Slideshow in the electric chair, Addams Family Values.
In-laws!
In this sequel to the 1991 fantasy reboot, Uncle Fester has fallen for the Addams family's new nanny, Debbie.
My late husband, Fester.
What no one knows, however, is that Debbie is a bit of a gold digger with murder in her history.
You took me in. You accepted me. But did any of you love me?
She's killed her 2 past husbands and her parents, and has now set the Addams family up to be killed via the 6 electric chairs the family keeps on hand for such occasions.
Good luck!
By all accounts, the Addams actually seem kinda into it, which is probably to be expected. What wasn't expected, however, was that baby Pubert would foil her plans and lead to her own execution in the cutest way possible. Number 2. Skeletal Marv, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Not to be dissuaded by their horrifically unsuccessful burglary attempt in the first movie, inept thieves Marv and Harry are back at it in this family-friendly follow-up. They've escaped from prison and somehow managed to run into Kevin McAllister again, the same child that outwitted them in the original film.
Don't you know a kid always wins against two idiots?
With their sights set on robbing a toy store as Christmas Eve approaches, Kevin lures the crime duo to his uncle's townhouse that he's rigged with booby traps, which they kind of should have expected by now, but obviously haven't. So when Marv goes to wash his hands in a copper basin, he gets electrocuted so hard that his skeleton makes a sneak appearance. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
If you love fish like I do, you want them to die with dignity.
Number 1, Alan, the Hangover.
What the happened last night?
Waking up with no recollection of the previous night's events was really the least of this wolf pack's problems.
Phil, there is a tiger in the bathroom!
Especially when you consider what they have to go through in order to locate their missing friend, who is also the groom-to-be.
Exactly. Well, we can't find him and we're getting a little worried.
Following an evening of debauchery and some illegal activity, which includes stealing a police cruiser, the gentlemen find themselves at a police station volunteering for a taser demonstration.
These gentlemen have kindly volunteered to demonstrate how a stun gun is used to subdue a suspect.
After 2 of his friends get tased into unconsciousness,
Finish him!
Alan finds himself face to face with a child who's out for revenge for earlier teasing, with said revenge involving shooting the taser directly into Alan's face.
Don't be afraid to ride the lightning.
In the face! In the face!
He's still out!
Do you agree with our list? What's your favorite funny electrocution scene from the movies?
In the face! In the face!
For more entertaining top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.